Good morning. Good morning, my beautiful friends. This is your wake up call with Maui Paul. I am Maui Paul. We are here today to say some nice things about ourselves. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Lane. Wonderful to see you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining in, as well as the folks who are tuning in on YouTube and also on Twitch. Good to see you too. Thanks so much for coming in. Anyways, we are here today to say some good stuff about us and ultimately to empower our own lives. So we do this every morning, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. And yeah, so let's have some fun. Pull a card off the top of the deck. We do what we do every morning. I'm going to ask you if you are the affirmation on the card, and we are going to respond out loud together. I am that affirmation. As we do it, we are building into our own lives and ultimately changing up our understanding. So let's have some fun. Let's pull a card and say that today I am decisive. I am decisive. I focus on what is most important. So I am decisive. I focus on what is most important. Are you decisive? You are decisive. You focus on what is most important. I'm going to write that down in the comments. I encourage you guys to do the same thing. As I affirm today that I am decisive and I focus on what is most important. And I find that so every single time the word decisive or decide or decision comes up, I'm always reminded of my friend Cash Matthews. He told a story about the origins of the word decide, which comes from the Latin of decidere. Decidere means to kill or to cut off. It comes to so dea is dea is to cut, and yeah, and so basically it comes from the Latin to cut, to cut off. So when we decide, we are cutting off any other possibilities. And the reason I chose a camera for this image, because I was thinking about like what is it, how is it that we choose what to do. When we take a picture, we are deciding what is in the picture and what isn't in the picture. Whenever, if you've ever looked through a viewfinder of a camera, and I'm sure that you have, you've had to decide what part of what part of reality, what part of what's in front of you is worthy of capturing, and what part is not. In fact, unlike other forms of art, photography, photographers work with what they have. If you were to paint a picture, you start with a blank canvas. However, when we take a picture, we the canvas is already there. We are simply deciding what to focus on. That's why it's called focus. That's why so when we it's increasingly less used nowadays with cell phones. However, originally cameras had a focus a focus wheel on there, and you just spin the ring around until the thing that you wanted to be sharp was sharp, and everything else was not quite as sharp. And so decision is really about understanding what the important stuff is and letting everything else go, and saying, okay, well, we have I have a goal, I have a desire, I have a dream, whatever it is, and what is the stuff that is not contributing to this? And if it's not contributing, to let it go. And so I am decisive. You're decisive as well. And we focus on what is most important. And I found that the most effective people in the world are people who are good deciders. Shane Parrish has a book about decisions, and he talks about making up a decision journal, such that every time that we make a major decision, just write down, hey, this is the decision that we made, and here are the reasons behind it, so that we can go back and look. Not just at the random things in our days, but about the most important stuff, the decisions that we've made and the reasons that we made them. I found that not deciding is a decision. When we're presented with options and we just sort of like let fate decide by not intentionally choosing one of them, that we are making a decision. We are deciding not to be involved in the process. So we can't get away from deciding. And yet, a lot of people are afraid of making decisions. The reason that we're afraid is because we're afraid of closing doors. We're afraid that if we choose one thing, that we are not choosing another thing. researchers at Stanford invented this little game where people were able to basically just make decisions or make choices and kind of navigate through this game. And the thing is that they could always, in the first iteration of this game, the people who were playing it could always go back and make the choice that they hadn't made before. However, then they introduced a variation of the game where the choices that were not made, if they were not made long enough, those choices would become more expensive in the context of the game in order to keep those options open. And what they found was that people would spend unreasonable amounts of in-game currency to keep those options open, even if they were going a completely different direction. And they kind of showed that people don't want the things to be closed off forever. However, the fact is that when we decide on things, we are by our very nature deciding not to do other things. So saying yes to one thing means saying no to another thing, and it's fine. It's fine to say no to other things. It's actually quite a healthy thing to say yes to one thing and no to another. We do it all the time, and in life, I said yes to doing a wake up call this morning. Therefore, I said no to staying in bed. That's just how it is, and the more that we do this consciously, the easier that our lives become, because when we're doing it consciously, then every single one of our yeses is taking us toward what we desire, and every single one of our no's is also taking us toward what we desire. We when we're saying yes to one thing and saying no to another thing, it allows us to set our own course and direction. So I am decisive today, and you are as well, and we focus on what is most important. And so today, life is going to present us with lots and lots of options, and we're going to get to choose between them. We're going to get to decide which ones are best for us. And as we do that, we will ultimately be determining the course of our own lives. So let's be intentional with our decisions, and let's and if we realize that we're not making a decision yet for some reason, let's take a look and ask ourselves, like, why aren't we making that decision? Actually, Jan, I had a fantastic conversation with you about this one day. We were just kind of like on our golf carts, just passing by each other and stopped to chat. And you talked about how you describe it as the itch. Whenever we have something going on in life, and we have to make a decision, if the longer that we don't make that decision, the more that we itch, the more that we are uncomfortable, we're itchy. We aren't comfortable where we're at right now, and there's, of course, the reason that we don't make that decision is because we don't, we're scared of it. We're scared of the pain that comes from making the decision. However, the fact is that we will eventually need to make it no matter what. And so the choice is not, do we make a decision or not? The choice is, how long do we itch? It was such a wonderful perspective, and actually incorporated it into an awesome Saturday service maybe a month ago. But it's such an insightful conversation. But anyways, so we are decisive people. We focus on what's important. And then, just like a camera, when we click the button and the shutter goes down, that image is caught forever. And so as we do that, we have to understand that when we make decisions, it's like we're clicking the shutter. That picture is that picture. It is what it's going to be, and it's never anything different. We can take a second picture, a third, or a fourth. However, every single time that we do take a picture, that picture is frozen, a moment frozen in time. So let's focus on what's most important in our lives, and and as we do that, let's also realize that by focusing on what's most important, we have to decide what's most important. We have to do that very difficult work of choosing what is most important to us, and that is the thing I think that most people have a problem with. It's choosing what's most important. It, when we understand when we understand what the most effective things to do are, then it becomes a lot easier to know what fits in the picture and what doesn't. All right, my beautiful friends, I will talk to you guys tomorrow at 9 a.m. We'll come up with another one of these. And tomorrow being Friday, we're going to come up with another one of these and kind of go over the cards for the week. So I want to say thanks so much to Jan and Lane, Susan, for being here this morning, as well as the folks who are watching me on Twitch and also on YouTube. Great to see you guys today. Thanks so much for being here. I love you, care about you, appreciate you, think you're amazing, and we'll chat with you guys tomorrow at 9. And then on Saturday at 11 a.m., we'll do an awesome Saturday service. Until then, love you, care about you, appreciate you. We'll talk to you at 9. Aloha from paradise.